Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Prayer.
Recording in progress.
ஐந்து கரத்தனை ஆனை முகத்தனை இந்தின் இளம்பிறை போலும் ஏற்றனை நந்தி மகந்தனை ஞானக் கொழுந்தினை குந்தியில் வைத்தடி ஒற்றுகின்றேனே தந்தை தாயாவானும் சார்கதியுங்காவானும் அந்தமிலா இன்பம் நமக்காவானும் எந்தமது ஊனாகுவானும் உயிராகுவானும் அருட்கோனாகுவானும் குரு நன்மையும் செல்வமும் நாளும் நல்குமே திண்மையும் பாபமும் சிதைந்து தேயுமே ஜன்மமும் மரணமும் இன்றித் தீருமே இம்மையே ராம என்றிரண்டெழுத்தினான். Hari Om to all. So,
Your voice.
It will rise, I suppose.
No, your volume is okay, is it?
But because it is initial time, it may be little low.
Okay.
It will get heated up. We were seeing Ravana. What are the crimes committed by Ravana? So Rama was wondering, as possibly we are all also wondering, was there nobody to give challenge to Ravana, who can defeat Ravana among the devatas or asuras or human beings? So Rama asked the question to Agastya. Was there nobody who can challenge, withstand, defeat Ravana? Then Agastya started narrating the stories. What are all the defeats that met by Ravana? So in the 31st Sarga, the story comes of Kartavirya Arjuna. There was a Arjuna, son of Kritavirya. We saw this story to some extent in Mahabharatam also, while we were seeing Parashurama avatar. So Parashurama avatar killed Kartavirya Arjuna, son of Kritavirya, so he is called Kartavirya. His name is Arjuna, the same name as who learned from Krishna the Gita, one among the Panjapandavas. So to differentiate both Arjunas, we use Kartavirya Arjuna, Kritavirya's son Arjuna, Kartavirya. So he was ruling a city called Mähismati. Possibly it should be somewhere around South India. From the narrations we can understand. So Ravana went to Mähismati. Because in Tamil they say Thinavedukkum Tolhel. That is, he wanted to rub against someone. He was unable to sit quiet because he is all powerful. So he wanted to test his power with everybody. So he came to fight with Kartavirya Arjuna. So when he came, Kartavirya Arjuna was out for some reason. So his ministers told Raja is not here, you can come, better luck next time. So nearby his country, Narmada river was flowing. So possibly somewhere around Maharashtra, Mumbai was Mähismati. We can safely guess. Because Narmada is even now flowing there. So because the Narmada is nearby, Ravana went and everybody took bath and they were getting ready for worship. So here comes a thing which I don't take the same way others take. Ravana was getting ready to worship Linga. So generally nowadays the Linga worship is associated with Shiva. But in my understanding, Linga means a symbol. It represents God. It need not be Shiva, it can be Vishnu, it can be Brahma. And if you have any doubt with my interpretation, if you have any question, then you can come to Kanyakumari. There is one temple called Suchindram. There is a Linga. It is considered Sthanu Malayan. Sthanu means Shiva, though the word has different meaning in Sanskritam. Mal means Tirumal, Vishnu. Ayan means Brahma. So all the Trimurtis are represented by Linga. We can say Brahman is represented by Linga. So they say the Pitam is Brahma, then the abode is Vishnu, then the Sthun, that is Sthanu portion is Shiva.
But Linga also can mean form, any form.
Yeah,
Linga.
originally the Sanskrit word means Linga means form.
It's not Shiva Linga.
Yeah, symbol. So even in a tradition, the Shiva Linga has one explanation like this: Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The Sthanu portion represents Shiva. Then Avade portion represents, the round portion represents Vishnu. The Pitam, the bottom represents Brahma. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Trimurti, who is the whole sum of Brahman. Brahman, when it makes creation, it is called Brahma. When it protects, it is called Vishnu. When it destroys, may not be the right word. Unmanifest things, then he is called Rudra. So the whole thing is called Shiva or Brahman or Narayana or Adi Parashakti, whatever name, what is your Ishta Devata, according to that you can call. The Brahman can be called otherwise also. So another explanation for that is it represents Shiva Shakti, that is Brahman and Prakriti. That is another explanation for Shiva Linga. So the Avudai, that is the round portion is representing Prakriti. In Vedanta also we very often use the name Brahman and Maya. Otherwise we can say Brahman and Maya. So the Brahman and Maya or Brahman and Prakriti are represented by Shivalinga. There is Linga, we generally call as Shivalinga. So here the Valmiki Ramayana says Ravana was worshipping Linga. So people may consider he was worshipping Shiva, but we already last class we saw when he went to Kailash, when he was about to enter Kailash, Nandi was stopping him. He was telling, this is Shankara's place, don't enter. Then Ravana was questioning Nandi, hey, who is the Shankara? Is he bigger than me? greater than me, powerful than me. So that means Ravana was totally ignorant of Shiva. So it is better not to take the Linga as Shiva Linga. He was worshipping God in the form of Linga. So in Narmada he was preparing to worship Linga. He always take his puja things along with him, it seems. So they were getting ready. The assistants were assisting him. So when he was getting ready, lot of flowers collected, whatever materials needed for a puja, all were collected, and he sat in the banks of Narmada. Then suddenly a huge water wave came. The Narmada water level built up. Suddenly there was a rise in the water level, and it was overflowing the banks, and it reached Ravana's place where he was preparing to worship. It washed away, and suddenly it went down and it washed away all the flowers. Ravana, it is not a rainy season. Sudden rise in the river level, water level doesn't seem logical. So Ravana got wild. Then he sent his people to find out what is the reason. Then they came and found the reason and told Ravana. Some person at a distance from here was playing in the river. He had 1,000 hands. So the Kartavirya Arjuna is known as having 1,000 hands. Sahasrabahu. So with his 1,000 hands, he was stopping the river flow. Then the river level builds up. Then when he released his hands, then the river flows as usual. So something like Bhishma, the Ganga Putra, Santanu's son, Bhishma did in Mahabharata. With his arrows, he stopped the flow of Ganga. When Santanu saw that, then only the father and son met. So that's how the story went in Mahabharata, we already knew. The same way Kartavirya was stopping the flow of Narmada. So these people, when told that, Ravana angrily came to fight with that person who has 1,000 hands. Ravana has 10 hands and that person has 1,000 hands. And if we calculate by number, we know easier who will win. So he came, there was a fight, then Kartavirya Arjuna captured Ravana and pulled him to his city Mähismati. Then from the people roaming around, that is celestials, Pulastya came to know that Ravana was captured by Kartavirya Arjuna. Do you remember who is Pulastya? Any guess? We started the Uttara Kanda with the story of Pulastya only. Pulastya is grandfather of Ravana. Sorry. Yes. Pulastya's son Vishrava and his son Manav Kaikasi is Ravana. So out of Valmiki Ramana says, out of affection for his son, that is Vishrava, Pulastya came to release Ravana, that is grandson. So when the sage came, Rishi came, Kartavirya Arjuna had not unlike Ravana, he had respect for sadhus. So when he asked for the release of Ravana, he released him. Then after that, he came to know Vali is also very powerful. He came to Kishkinda. That time, Vali was out for his Sandhya prayers, morning prayers. So Vali used to go South Sea, West Sea, North Sea, East Sea. So Tara and Hanumän, Sugriva, everybody told Ravana that just Vali left for his Sandhya prayers, so you can come again later. But Ravana told, no, I want to fight him now itself. You tell me, where did he go? I will go there. See, this is how the ego works. In spite of getting beaten up, you think still you are powerful. Nobody can be powerful than you. So in spite of failing at the hands of Kartavirya Arjuna, Ravana was insisting that he want to fight with Vali at once. Then they told, if you want to fight with him, you can go to South Sea. Possibly this is the time he will doing worship in the South Sea bank. So he went to the bank of South Sea. Vali was on his prayers, and Ravana thought, why should we go in front of him and call for a fight? Already we miserably failed at the hands of Kartavirya Arjuna. So let us capture him from behind. So there were people who are talking for Ravana or Vali, that how come Rama killed him from a hiding. So the great Ravana also came to Vali. Vali was sitting towards the south side. So from behind, Ravana came and trying to capture him. But somehow the instinct of Vali was telling somebody is coming around. And he noticed Ravana was coming behind to capture him. He allowed him to come near. When he came near, Vali with his tail rolled him. Then he finished his prayer. He didn't bother much. Just he was in his tail. Then he finished his South Sea prayer. Then he went to West Sea. Then he went to North Sea. Then he went to East Sea. Then finished his Sandhya prayer. Then he came to Kishkinda. Then he let him go off. So there is some saying that Angada asked, who is this spider you brought along? ஒரு எட்டுக்கால் பூச்சி மாதிரி இருக்கே, இது யாரு கொண்டு வந்தீங்க அப்படின்னு அப்பா கிட்ட அங்கதான் கேட்டாராம். In Valmiki Ravana it is not there. So Vali came to Kishkinda after completing the prayers. It seems Valmiki Ravana says he kept him in his armpit, not in the tail, and roamed all the four directions and came back to Kishkinda. Then Ravana himself begged Vali, I didn't know your might, please pardon me, I will be your good friend. Whenever you find any difficulties, I will come and help you. Though I am a little person, whatever small help I can offer you. let us be friends. Then Vali agreed, okay, let us be friends. Then he left him. So these are all the two instances narrated by Agastya that Ravana met defeat.
And somebody Vali normally draws the strength, whoever is in front of him.
Yeah, there is a famous story to that effect, but it is not directly mentioned in Valmiki to my knowledge. But Valmiki says he had a necklace given by Indra, and while he was dying, he gave it not to Angada but to Sugriva. When I was telling the incident, I was telling these details also. I was looking for whether there is any mention about the necklace will take half of the strength of the enemy whoever comes in front of him. There is a famous story we hear, but directly no mention in Valmiki Ramayana. Possibly in some other Ramayana the mention comes.
In comparison,
Possibly in Ramayana. I don't know exactly in which Ramayana such mentions come.
no, if in Valmiki it's not coming, how come they add in Kamba or any other Ramayana?
There are some possibilities. When somebody writes something, he may not cover all the things. Whatever occurs to his mind, whatever interests him, he will cover those details. Even in Valmiki, we are going to see a incident very often criticized, Sambhukavadam. In that case also, Valmiki didn't mention what happened to Sambhuka. He just says Rama killed him, cut his head. But later in literatures, whether it is Padma Purana, Raghuvamsa or Bhavabhuti, Skanda Purana, many literatures say that he attained Swarga. Even our Nama Ramayana says Swargata Sambhuka Samsthuta Ram. So he attained Swarga, which was his wish behind the tapas he did. Though it is not mentioned in Valmiki, but we can safely guess, because Valmiki already mentioned that when a king punishes a citizen, the citizen goes to Swarga. It is already mentioned in different contexts. I already told you. So even in case of Maricha, Kumbhakarna, and so on, Kavanda, Virata, and so on, we see they all wanted to die at the hands of Rama, not at the hands of Ravana, because they knew when we die at the hands of Bhagavan, we will get good gati, that is possibly the Swarga. So one is Rama is Bhagavan avatar, so dying at his hands gives anybody good gati, equal to Swarga. Then second thing, as a king, if he offer punishment, the punishment wards off the sin of the citizen. So he attains good gati, that is Swarga. That is clearly mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana itself. In a context when Rama was quoting some rishi. So the exact context I am not remembering, but I told this when in the class we were seeing. In Uttara Kanda that came, I suppose. So, in that way also, it is easily one can assume Sambhuka, because he died at the hands of Bhagavan and at the hands of king as a punishment. Both way he safely reached the Swarga. So this Valmiki didn't bring out, but other texts, later texts, every text brought it out. Adhyatma Ramayanam, Tulasi Ramayanam, every text brought it out. So generally when we read Upanishad and so on also, Upanishad might have not mentioned explicitly, but the Bhashyakara will bring it out. That if Bhashyakara didn't bring it out, then the Tika Tippanikara will bring it out. But there will be a logic. It is not a lie. We can safely assume this is what happened or this is how it may be. So in that way, Valmiki Ramayana, to my knowledge, because I didn't go line by line, so to my knowledge it is not mentioned. Possibly it is mentioned in some other Ramayana. And how they came to know, because Ramayana was a famous story all over the world, including Thailand and so on. So when they say Karna Parambare Kade, Karna means year. Year to year it is passed. So while passing, maybe somebody added, or from the beginning itself the story was going on those lines. So when it reached Kamban or Tulasi, Rama, Das and so on, people who wrote Edutachan and so on, when they knew that story, they added that in their literature. So they knew, in spite of their knowing it is not mentioned in Valmiki, because they knew the story was around the public, very famous, they decided to include in their literature. That may be possibly a reason. And sometimes, see, Valmiki didn't mention Sambhuka, what happened. So there will be a question comes, what happened to Sambhuka later? Valmiki was not available to ask the question. So the later poets, Kavi means Grantha Darshi. So they added to ward off the question doubt. This is how I look into that. And
as you say, based on Shankaracharya's Bhashya, like how he puts in. So in keeping with the flow, I suppose they understand between the what's missing.
Yeah, even in grammar, we say vritti as not Vartikam. Vartikam, though already Panini wrote the sutras, there are some notes like Vartikams in between inserted. So it enhances, makes the meaning complete, it gives you a better understanding of the context. The Vartikam embellishes the sutra. See, for example, Panini might have not heard some usage or some different contexts. So the Vartyakara fills in that. It is not that he is correcting Panini, he is embellishing Panini Sutras. So then Mahabhashyakara comes and he gives more clarity. So it because we are many generations after them, Panini or so on, then such explanations gives us better understanding. Without those explanations and tikas, tippanis, because we are many generations later, it will be difficult for us to understand. Even in many incidents, we argue from the point of view of our day time. So the rules are different now, the cultural background is different, the society rules are different. So with this eye, we look into Ramayana, Mahabharata. So our vision is colored vision. We won't get the right perspective. Even now you see, in India there is one IPC, Indian Penal Code, that is law of the land. But it doesn't apply to Muslims. Which applies to Hindus, doesn't apply to Muslims, and Muslims are following Sharia law, that is Quran law. And even if in India a republic, if it is the case, what to talk of Saudi Arabia and so on. For example, if there is adultery committed by a woman, in Saudi Arabia they will stone her to death, because that is how their rules says. But in Indian law it is different, American law it is different, Malaysia or London, the rule will be different. So different nations have different law enforcement method. How we look into an incident, how we look into a crime is different. Who is a minor in India is different from who is a minor in America. So, but in spite of knowing all these intricacies, still we question, how come Rama do that? In spite of knowing Rama lived lakhs of years before us. So such questions, I think, are not in the right perspective. We have to see things in their eyes, from Rama's point of view, from Valmiki's point of view, we have to look into. Then only we will be able to understand. Otherwise, we will be always filled with conflict. If we see from our eyes, our knowledge, we don't know what Manu wrote, what was the Manusmriti followed in their time. So, unless we know those details, we cannot understand why Rama did that. How can Rama do that? So these are the things we have to keep in mind when we try to understand Ramayana, Mahabharata and so on. Generally, the people who make us question, they don't have any reverence for our tradition. They don't want to understand things. Just they want to ask questions. They want to confuse us, who are the believers, noble people. So when they ask, we also get shaken. There is one Sthula Nigna Nyaya in literature. So unless we learn things thoroughly, we know things clearly. If somebody asks any question, then we will be shaking in our ideas. So it is our duty to learn very clearly our scriptures. So when we know this is how this is, then nobody can question us and shake us. There are people who ask who criticize that Brahma married his daughter. So always I ask them, those idiots, half-baked idiots, I ask them, how come you came to know that Brahma is father? If you are that much genius, why don't you say, who is the mother? They can never answer this question. Because they are confused. In Puja Swami's way, Swayam confused, Anyanavi confusion. So they are confused, they want to confuse us, the believers. So we have to be very careful, very intelligent. Then we can answer.
They're not trying to confuse something, they're trying to erase the literature. They want others to really learn,
They want to erase the tradition, Hindu tradition, particularly. Most of them try to destroy Hindu tradition.
Poisoning the mind of the innocent. Then the people who don't know, they are the ones. Then they get converted and they also join their. Okay. continue chapter.
Okay.
இல்லாட்டி ஏச போவாங்க scold says.
So with this Ravana's defeat under the hands of Vali, at the hands of Vali, Agastya completes that Meghanada tradition. That is Indrajit's story. Then Rama asked another question which brings him Hanuman's history. So Rama asked, incomparable indeed was the aforesaid might of Vali and Ravana. The might of the aforesaid two warriors was, however, this is Rama's statement, listen very carefully, however, not equal to the strength of Hanuman. So Rama recognizes the might of Hanuman is superior to anyone. The heroism, cleverness, strength, firmness, sagacity, prudence, and prowess, and power have taken up their abode in Hanuman. So these are all staying with Hanuman. Perceiving the army of monkeys sinking into despondency at the very sight of the sea, and reassuring them, and mighty armed Hanuman leapt across the sea, covering 100 yojanas. After overpowering the ogres, that is Lanka Devi, presiding over the city of Lanka, and stealing into the gymnasium of Ravana, Sita was discovered and spoken to as well, and actually comforted by him. So Rama with gratitude remembering everything and praising Hanuman's power. The leaders of Ravana's army, the sons of his counselors, his own servants, and his son, here it is not Indrajit, Akshaya, if I remember the name correctly, Akshaya is his name, killed by Hanuman before bound by Indrajit. So Ravana, his own son, all these were struck down there by Hanuman single-handedly. Then, after speaking to Ravana, when he was entirely free from bondage of Brahmastra, Lanka was reduced to ashes by him. Feats similar to those which were performed in war by Hanuman are not known to have been performed by either by Kila or by Indra or Agni or Kubera. We have never heard such feats, sadhanas, achievements by any other person. By the prowess of his arms alone were Lanka and victory attained, and Sita, Lakshmana, sovereignty, friends, and henceforth too regained by me. So Rama was remembering whether it is the victory of Sri Lanka or releasing Sita or protecting Lakshmana. 2 times they fall down, and he brought Sanjeevani and other aushadis, that is herbs. So Rama was remembering those incidents. And the Ayodhya was regained, and friends and henceforth too regained by me. If Hanuman were not with me, who else would have been able to get the news about Sita? I wonder therefore, wherefore, when hostility sprang up between Sugriva and Vali, so now the question comes. So till now Rama was wondering about the power of Hanuman. Now he comes to the question. So when there is a clash between Sugriva and Vali, Hanuman was all the way along with both the brothers. Somehow he had an association with Sugriva bit more than Vali. So he was a good friend of Sugriva. In spite of being a good friend of Sugriva, when Sugriva was suffering at the hands of Vali, he didn't. If he might have tried to protect Sugriva, fight with Vali, he might have killed Vali. He himself might have killed Vali and protected Sugriva. Sugriva might have not needed me. Before myself going there, Sugriva may be the king of Kishkinda. So Rama was wondering, I wonder wherefore when hostility sprang up between Sugriva and Vali, Vali was not consumed by Hanuman with a desire to please Sugriva. I think Hanuman was not conscious of his own might. In that, he simply watched Sugriva suffering hardships in exile. Tell me, O Rishi, in detail, according to facts, all this about Hanuman. So then Agastya started describing the history of Hanuman. There was a mountain called Sumeru, ruled by a king Kesari. Kesari is the father of Anjaneya. His wife was Anjana, so we call him Anjaneya. So for Kesari and Anjana, Hanuman born. Hanuman was born by the grace of Vayu Bhagavan. So when he was a child, the mother left him unattended for some purpose. So Hanuman was very much hungry. So he saw the morning sun coming up like a red fruit, Arjuna we say. So he want to pluck the fruit. So these details comes in Uttara Kanda. So he jumped, leaped towards sun. It was on a eclipse day. Eclipse day means the Ketu was about to, according to our Puranic style, about to eat Surya. So Rahu, son of Simhika. Simhika we knew when Hanuman was crossing the sea, she was the one catching his shadow and pulling him down. The Simhika was mother of Rahu. That Rahu was about to catch Surya, there is to cause eclipse. He saw Hanuman was coming and he got frightened. He went and complained to Indra. And when Rahu was approaching Surya, Hanuman thought that is another fruit. Oh, we came for one fruit, now you are getting two fruits. So he was going through Rahu also. Rahu was terribly afraid. Then he called Indra in a loud voice. Then Indra was already coming on his Airavata. Seeing Airavata, he thought it is a white fruit. Because it is a white elephant. So we came for one fruit, now we are getting 3 fruits. So he was then he changed his direction towards Airavata. Then Indra with his Vajrayutam, he struck Hanuman in his jaw and he fell unconscious on a mountain. His left jaw was broken. Because his left jaw was broken, there onwards he was called Hanuman. When Vayu Devata came to know his son fell unconscious, he took his son and went inside a cave, stopped his duty of breathing. So the whole 3 worlds, Swarga, Bhumi, Patala, everybody was suffocating due to lack of air, oxygen. Then all the gods under the leadership went to Brahma and sought his advice. And he took all of them along with him and came to the cave where Vayu Bhagavan was. Then he met Vayu Bhagavan. He told, don't worry, I will bring him back. You please do your duty as earlier. Then after bringing Hanuman back to life, Brahma asked other gods, you make Vayu Devata, that is wind god, please, everyone give your own boons to this child, Hanuman. Then Indra, almost everybody gave in the same way. Indra told, because his left jaw was broken, hereafter he will be called Hanuman. So the name was given by Hanuman, Indra. Then he told he will be protected from my weapons, particularly Vajra. Hereafter my Vajrayudam won't do any harm to him. Then Surya, he came and he told, whatever Shastra I know, every Shastra I will part with him. So all the Shastra knowledge Surya Devata gave. So this is where we...
Not even an approach Surya, but to learn.
That happened later also. So in this context only, Hanuman's education we come to know. So all the Shastra knowledge I will give, son told, Surya Devata told. Then Varuna Devata told, I will not kill him and he will not be killed by my weapon also. Then Yama came and he told, he will not be killed by my weapon also. Yamadanda won't do any harm to him and he will not be bothered by any disease also. Then Kubera came. He also told, I will not kill him, neither my weapon. Then Shankara, that is Rudra, came. Hanuman is considered Rudra avatar also. Possibly such details comes in some other Ramayanas. So Rudra, Shankara gave him, no death will be for him from me, or neither by my weapons. That is, we can safely conclude here, though it is not explicitly told in Valmiki, So the Ravana's sword given by Shiva, that is Shankara, even if he uses against Hanuman, it won't harm. Though there were no situation came, but we can guess now. So Shankara told, my weapons also won't do any harm to him. Then Vishwakarma came, I will not kill him, and my weapons also won't do any harm. Generally, Vishwakarma is the person who makes every weapon. Okay? Whether it is for Vishnu, Shiva, every weapon he only makes. He told, my weapon already made, or even in future I make. No weapon will do any harm to Hanuman. Then Brahma also told, for him no death from me or my weapon, that is Brahmastra. And we knew when Indrajit wielded that Brahmastra, Hanuman bound to, as a respect, token of respect, are bound for some time. Though he knew Brahmastra won't do any harm to him. So in this way, Hanuman was given a lot of boon without doing much tapas. Voluntarily everyone gave all the boons to him. He became powerful. So then the Vayu Bhagavan took him to Anjana and gave her back. Then generally, see, we say Korangu Chete. I was not aware of that. Now for 1 year or so, in my place, a lot of monkeys started coming. And I listened from other people also, previously in their place also there were no monkeys. Nowadays lot of monkeys wandering, roaming around. I don't know, after Corona, the population of monkeys increased or not, I don't know. For some reason they started coming inside villages. So a lot of monkeys come. They come here and do all the mischiefs. They cause every problem to every household. And now I understand what is Korangu Chate. For no rhymes and reason, they will do things. And they cannot keep quiet in their place. So, in literature also, many places I suppose, in Vallalar also mentions this, I think. When telling about our mind, Gita also 6th chapter something comes to this effect, but this example is very nice. They compare mind with monkey. Already monkey itself won't stay in a place, do all mischief. There is a kind of monkey, and that monkey drank alcohol. Normal monkey itself we cannot handle. Now it drank alcohol also. Then how it will do things? So our mind is a monkey which drank alcohol. Then that monkey is not an ordinary monkey, it is a mad monkey also. Okay, Paityam. Normal monkey itself won't behave well. So mad monkey, how it will behave? So a mad monkey drank alcohol also. Then to make the matters worse, scorpion also bit it. How the monkey will react? That's how our mind is doing things. So it is not easy to tame the mind. Very difficult job. So we have to do japa, pranayama, meditation, service, so on. Asham,
Swami, the ashram monkeys are very, very good monkeys, na? Monkey
in Rishikesh.
They come and sit in my doorstep and all. They don't take care of it.
Yeah, I remember that we didn't suffer much at the hands of monkeys in Rishikesh.
No.
But in Kuttalam, Vrindavan, and all people always say it will take away our goggles, whatever we have in our hands, they will take away.
That he took my Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
That's what he took. But that's to doctor, he gave it back after that, when he gave him something.
Yeah, they take and they leave it somewhere else.
Yeah.
If it is in our vicinity, we can take it back. But if it is not in our vicinity, how can we take it back? So it is very inherent nature. So,
Yes.
So generally people are afraid of monkeys, and people put net and so on to protect from monkeys. They crack firecrackers. By hearing the sound, they will get frightened and run away. So whatever technique they can use, they are using. So mind is like this. The same Arjuna was telling in 6th chapter. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram mano durnigraham chalam. Bhagavan says ashamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Vallalar was giving this detailed analogy, I suppose. A mad monkey drank alcohol, bitten by scorpion. So Hanuman, and here the monkey was child also, Hanuman. Then we can guess what havoc he might have caused. And we will continue the story in the next class. The more details about Hanuman. If there is any question, you may ask. Or else we will conclude with prayer. அஞ்சிலே ஒன்று பெற்றான் அஞ்சிலே ஒன்றைத் தாவி அஞ்சிலே ஒன்று ஆறாக ஆரியற்காக ஏகி அஞ்சிலே ஒன்று பெற்ற அணங்கை கண்ட அயலாரூரில் அஞ்சிலே ஒன்றை வைத்தான் அவன் நம்மை அழித்துக் காப்பான். ஹரி ஓம் தத்சத். சர்வம் பிரம்மார்ப்பணமஸ்து. ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ணார்ப்பணமஸ்து. ஹரி ஓம்.
Hare Om.